Well, those of you who've been following me on social media or listening to the podcast Papa Bear Hikes know that I took a trip to California this summer. Spent some time with my son Shroomin. Got to see San Francisco. Took a ride out to Tahoe City, and then we hiked the Tahoe Rim Trail. Not the entire trail. That was our goal back in March when we started planning this trip. However, time restraints caused us to scale back, and we turned it into a 10-day backpacking trip. I really wanted to spend time in San Francisco, but I also wanted to make sure I was able to take in the best of what the Tahoe Rim Trail had to offer. On the Nevada side, we just had beautiful views of Lake Tahoe. It felt like every day we were out there. Clear blue skies and awesome views. Some great rock formations. On this day that we were out there, it felt like we did 14 miles and had so much to see. It was definitely the best day on the Nevada side of the trail. We were able to get peeks at some of the lakes along Lake Tahoe, like Marlette Lake. But again, here you can see just a wonderful view of the lake itself. And then every once in a while, we'd have these open fields of wildflowers to walk through. And then we'd look across the lake and say, hey, in just a day or two, we'll be hiking over on that side of the trail. The Nevada side certainly was fun, a unique hiking experience for me. My hiking had all been in the Northeast up until this point. And as you can see, these were just absolutely stunning views we had. And there's Shroomin. Not sure exactly what he's pointing out to me. Some pictures of some of the beautiful flowers we were able to see as we were hiking through some fields. And these type of views just never get old with me. On this particular hike, it felt like we were forever going up that hill. Although it didn't feel strenuous, it just was a long walk. And here we are at the end of that walk at the top, taking a rest. There was a nice little bench there that gave us a view of Lake Tahoe. We spent about a half hour or 45 minutes up there. At that point, we only had about 2 hours left till we got to camp that night. On this stretch, water was really scarce. We were able to fill up at Marlette Campground. And then the next day, we were able to fill up again at a stream. But it was a long 2 days of water. We had a long stretch where water was scarce. Somebody left a little gnome up there where we took a break. And again, just beautiful views. And here's a shot of South Tahoe. That's the day we were heading into South Tahoe to take a break. We went to a hostel there, and there's Shroomin enjoying a nice off-trail meal. I always look forward to that. And the next day we got back on the trail. There's Echo Lake. That's where we started the next day. And this provided just a completely different experience. It felt like we were on a totally different trail once we got onto the California side. The scenery started to look different. It had a different feel to it. Just as much fun, just as unique and interesting. Again, I had never hiked in this part of the country, so for me, everything was new. I felt like a child out there seeing things for the first time and just constantly in awe, constantly saying, wow, look at that. Isn't that cool? Can you see that? And you can see these mountains behind Shroomin. He had never done this type of hiking himself. And here we are getting ready to take our first steps in the Desolation Wilderness, something we had both read a lot about and were looking forward to hiking in. And you can see the peaks here just are incredible, just looking out at these. And this is where we're starting to approach Lake Aloha. We both agreed this was our favorite place on our entire hike. We didn't do the entire trail, so I can't say it was our favorite on the whole trail, but it was definitely our favorite of the hike. We ended up camping there that night. It just felt like the right place. We had already hiked about 10 miles. It wasn't a matter of being tired, it was just, this feels like a nice place to hike. We left the flies off our tents. It was a full moon. It was so bright, it felt like the moon was shining right into the tents. It felt like somebody was shining a flashlight on us. The next day we woke up, and that's when we started our ascent up to Dick's Pass. People talk about the difference between hiking in the west and in the east, and it's true. The switchbacks, I'm not going to say make it easier, but make it feel like you could get more miles. You definitely feel it when you're gaining that much elevation. But I enjoyed it. I really, the way that the switchbacks and the openness didn't have the green tunnel feel that you usually have out in the Northeast, where you pop out and every once in a while you get a view. We just felt like the entire day we were out there seeing beautiful things. And here you can see Shroomin showing how big a tree somebody just recently cut up to make the trail passable. And going home and saying I'd hiked a small portion of the Pacific Crest Trail was actually kind of cool. We took our time going up to Dick's Pass, as you can see. A lot of joking around, a lot of stops. We were in no hurry. I'm not even sure how many miles we did that day. I could probably go back and look, but it's not important. We didn't pay a whole lot of attention about the number of miles we were going to accomplish. At this point in the trip, we were debating on whether we wanted to hike through to Tahoe City or just go back and spend another night at Lake Aloha. We both enjoyed it so much there, and we had decided that since we had turned it into a shortened backpacking trip, we weren't going to hike the whole trail. It was definitely something worth considering. And these incredible views. This is all on the way up to Dick's Pass, and here we are at Dick's Pass. And you can see just the beautiful views. We ended up camping at Dick's Lake that night. And the ascent was pretty steep. The ascent wasn't quite as easy as the ascent. It felt like it was more difficult. There's a little trail friend there. Started seeing these fence lizards quite a bit once we started approaching Dick's Pass. Those little white spots were actually patches of snow. Near Shroomin in his tent down near Dick's Lake. The wind just was blowing. It was definitely the coldest night on the trail. We both agreed. It was blowing so hard you couldn't even hear each other talking just 10 feet away from each other in the tents. But just a beautiful view. And we met some other hikers there, and a gentleman who was about my age who we became friends with and ended up hiking the next 2 days. He was from the Northeast and had similar hiking experience. He'd hiked the Long Trail, so it was a lot of fun getting to know him. On this day, as we were hiking back over Dick's Pass on our way back to Aloha Lake, took some time to look around and take in the views of all the different lakes you can see from Dick's Pass. I think it's 6 or 7 different lakes you can actually see from up there. As you can see, Shroomin's not exactly camera shy. I'm probably not too camera shy myself. I just want to share that bucket hat was definitely worth the investment, keeping the sun off my neck, because one thing you need to do out there is keep yourself lathered up with sunscreen. I ended up missing a spot the last day on my nose and got a little burnt on the tip of my nose. It looked kind of funny. I looked like a circus clown almost. This is near a stream where we stopped for lunch on the way over to Aloha Lake. Just incredible. Another one of my 4-legged lizard friends. Yeah, I've got a few pictures of those guys. They like posing for the camera too, I think. And here we are at Echo Lake Chalet. Shroomin bought a 6-pack of beer, and yeah, I drank most of it. There I am in front of the Grateful Dead house. That's my Graceland. And there I am in the corner of Haight and Ashbury. Yes, that's my Nashville. That is where I always wanted to be. My time in San Francisco was as enjoyable as my time on the trail. I will forever be grateful to my son Christopher for accommodating me and showing me around the city. Growing up a Grateful Dead fan and loving the music that came from that area, from that period, it's an experience I will never forget. And to tell you the truth, I can't wait to go back. I really want to go back. How many pictures I've seen of musicians, artists, standing at that same signpost. At this intersection, we walked past it 3 times. I couldn't get enough of it. I just every time had to stop and take it in and think about the history. Afterwards, we went over to Fisherman's Wharf, spent a lot of time there. Yeah, we did do some tourist type things. And of course, we had to go to In-N-Out Burger. I think we experienced 3 different In-N-Out Burgers. First time I'd ever been there. It was great. Oh, and there's my vehicle. That's my dream vehicle right there. And there I am. They even let you go in and sit in the driver's seat. Yeah, I could fantasize a little bit. I could see myself driving down Ashbury Street in that. Hopefully the brakes are working. Nice photo with the downtown San Francisco in the background. We visited Little Italy, of course, and ate some cannolis and had some pizza. Here we are in Corona Heights. On my last full day in San Francisco, we hiked up this nice little trail, and as you could see, it wasn't a tough trail. I think it was a little over a mile round trip, but just beautiful views. There's beautiful views of the entire city from up there. I think I'm officially going to make San Francisco my favorite city. It used to be Washington. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button.